Hope Channel, changing lives.
Good evening, viewers. We are live on Hope TV Channel Ghana. Throughout this week, we are going to have stewardship seminar. We are looking at financial stewardship, and we are going to go through a lot of topics that will help us receive blessings from God. And we are doing this program with an expert in stewardship, but somebody who read stewardship as a subject as part of his doctoral degree. So we are blessed, and I hope that we are going to have all the understandings that we need to get as Christians and as believers in Christ. So for this reason, you would have to join us every evening from today till Sabbath, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every evening, for us to have these discussions. And this is how our discussion is going to go. Our pastor would do a presentation. Then after the presentation, we'll have time to ask questions. I'll not be doing the questioning alone. You will have the opportunity to also send in your questions. And we know that by the close of the day, we would have answers to all questions that we bring here. So I am privileged to have this wonderful man of God helping us in these discussions. He is in the person of Pastor Dr. Paul Edu Sampa. He is the former Stewardship and Strategy Planning Director at the Southern Ghana Union Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Currently, he is the Family Ministries Director of the Union. So I want to welcome Pastor. Pastor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having you once again. I think we had this about 2 years ago. On stewardship, we had a seminar like this, and we are blessed to continue on this time.
That's right.
And I know we are going to be blessed.
Exactly.
So together with the viewers, we are ready to listen to what you have for us tonight. Pastor, what are we going to look at tonight?
Tonight, I want to present the giving as we have it in the church today.
Okay.
It used to be, a way that has been, refined, if you like. It has been gone over and over again, and now we have gotten a stable one that matches the Bible one-on-one, so you don't change anything.
Wow.
That's why we have to go through today and
Wow.
make sure we understand.
So I guess you're going to have the Adventist stance on giving.
On giving, exactly.
Oh, thank you very much. So I'm sure you are beginning to have your questions. So if you have questions ready, you can send through the number 055-968-0066. 055-968-0066. At this point, we'll move to Pastor's end for him to do the presentation for us. Then after the presentation, we would have time to have deliberations and have questions for him to answer. Stay tuned.
I want to welcome all of you to this evening's special program. And by God's grace, we have gotten the weather very conducive to let you relax and listen to what we have for you from the Stewardship Ministries. Beloved, we are talking about biblical giving. And I'm saying that biblical giving is not a matter of just taking the money to the church or whatever you want to give to the church, you just take it there, you are done. Biblical giving is an act of worship and not a way of funding churches. Actually, it's not a way of funding or fundraising for local churches at all. It is an act of worship. And that's why tonight we have to look at certain things that we've been doing. If it is right, fine. If it is not, I believe that this is the time that we have to sit down again and strategize our giving in order to receive the needed blessings. We have gone through scriptures, in fact, from Genesis through to Revelation. And the Bible has revealed to us 4 types of giving that is biblical, that you cannot use any other method to arrive at apart from using the Bible. and the end result is great, it means that whoever follows this will be blessed. That person will actually know what benefits are in giving. We have identified the tithe, which is a 10% of your income. We have also identified the offering, which is according to a proportion that you will give to your maker. Then there is a project giving, or even like special giving, for having a place of worship and make sure that there's a conducive place where we can meet from Sabbath to Sabbath and worship our maker. Finally, we have the thanksgiving offerings. Now, apart from this, there are other givings, but those are created by local elders within the churches. The Bible actually stipulates that these four are the most essential that gives rewards. So tonight, I want to say that maybe there's something wrong, because each of these four is backed by blessings, special blessings from the Creator. But since you became an Adventist, maybe 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, can you testify that this blessings that will be showered onto you, that there will be no room enough to receive it, is being showered? Can you testify? Be honest to yourself. And if it is not coming, what is wrong with it? If you are not receiving it, is there a problem? Or maybe we didn't understand our maker. See, there's something wrong and we need to investigate. Is it that we didn't understand God, or He's shown us a way that we've neglected and we are going our own way? So I want us tonight to sit down, help me to reason, and let's come out with facts that we can, base our worship in giving on, and reform if we find out that we are not doing it right. I was looking at the tithe and I was checking it from Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. I use two Bibles. Normally that's how to go about it, so you can get the fullest meaning that the quotation talks about. I checked from New American Standard, and it says, bring the whole tithe. If you have your pens, if you have your Bible around, underline the word the whole tithe. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house. There may be food in my house. There are certain words that are coming out that when we start going into details, you will check with your normal practices in giving and see whether you are on track or there's something wrong. He says, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house, and test me now in this. Test me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing until overflows. That's how the New American Standard says. Now, if you check from the New King James, which is the normal Bible we often use in the church, it says, bring all the tithe. You can also understand the word all, the tithe, into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And try me now in this. Try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such blessings that there will be not enough room to receive it. So you see, there's a standard that is set up. And my question tonight is, after returning your faithful tithe from the time you joined this church, have you received the promise that is stated that there will not be room enough to receive it? Is it true in your life? If it is not, join me in doing this investigation so that we can understand where we lack understanding or where we have gone wrong and correct ourselves. I was checking on the offering, and I was looking at the promise that is attached to it in Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Luke chapter 6 and verse 38. It says, give and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, they will pour into your lap. For by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you in return. That is the New American Standard. The measure you will measure. See, so God is telling you what measure, what can, what bucket, what bag, whatever that you put your into it to his storehouse is the same thing. They will look upon that and reward you accordingly. So I'm asking you, if this is a promise in giving offerings, are you sure you are seeing the end result of it in your life? If not, then there's something wrong. Either we were being deceived by God, which God forbid will never happen, or we didn't understand the concept. And that's why we are facing all this difficulty. Check it from the New King James. It says, give and it will be given to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure, and I keep telling this church, the same measure. The measure is not chosen by God who will retain the blessings. It is chosen by you. So the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. That is the New King James Version. Beloved, we can go on and on. I also checked that for project giving or special givings. And I found that in Haggai chapter 2, verse 15, verse 18 and 19. 15 says, and now carefully consider, carefully, take your time, brother, take your time, sister, carefully consider from this day forward, from before stone was laid upon stone in the temple of the Lord. Consider now from this day forward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, from the day that the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid. Consider it. Verse 19. Is the seed still in the barn, as yet the vine, the fig trees, the pomegranate, and the olive trees have not yielded fruit, but from this day I will bless you. I will bless you. Now check this. God is saying that if you participate, if you contribute, if you give in support of a project for him, in other words, assist the church in getting the church building, in getting the PA system, the choir robes, whatever you can think of to make aid to worship. If you think about these things and you support. In fact, this is the first quotation that the period is measured from 24th day of the 9th month, which means they took the information the 24th of the 9th, which is September. It's well recorded, and you can record yours as we are bringing this information out. You can record yours from today. Today is the 28th day of March 2022. Let's do it right, or let's check if we are on the correct path, or let's do it according to the precepts of the Bible, and let's compare notes and see from today. So this one is actually based on taking notes from a particular period. And I'm assuring you that make your notes recorded from today. Now, having said that, look at the time sovereign. I look at this from Psalm 112, verse 5 and 6. Paul says, if you are a giver, if you support and show your appreciation to what the Lord has done from time to time or regularly, he says, all goes well for those gracious in lending. Because you give to God, God is giving it back to you. All goes well for those gracious in lending, who conduct their affairs with justice. Then look at assurance. Surely he will never be shaken, but shall be remembered forever. Surely that person will never be forsaken or shaken, but shall be remembered by God forever. And yet you keep on doing it, and nothing is happening. My question is, why are we not receiving these needed blessings? Can it be that we are not doing it right? Is it the case that we are not doing it right? that we didn't understand what the Lord meant? Is it the case that he spoke, yet we did not get it right? Or that we are doing it our own way? Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, today let us nail it to the cross. Make sure we really understand what we do in church. The Bible and the church keep on guiding us on each of the givings, but still the problem is there. So brothers and sisters, tonight let us look at the tithe and its principles again. Let's look at the offering. Let's look at the project giving, and of course the thanks offerings. Who is demanding the tithe? Let's start with the tithe. It's simple and it's clear. You cannot say that you read or you read and you did not get the full meaning, except that you don't want to follow what you have read. Now, Leviticus 27:30 says, and all the tithes, all. The word all is a problem. Because if you give part, if you give some, you have not fulfilled the instruction. And all the tithes of the land. Now, when we talk about land, anything you acquired from the surface of this earth. All the tithes of the land, whether of the seed of the land or the fruit of the tree, is a loss. And listen to the last words. It is holy unto the Lord. Leviticus 27:30. It is holy unto the Lord. And therefore, anything holy, if you treat it as something you want to use for yourself, it becomes accursed. That is something that you should understand tonight. Anything that goes with the title holy, because holy belongs to God. He's the only holy person that we have ever come across. So holy means what belongs to God. And if we make use of any portion of it, any portion of what has been declared holy, turns in your case as an accursed item. And it follows you with a lot of, problems. Now, let's look at it whether the Bible, the spirit of prophecy, can affirm this. I was checking that also on Counsels on Stewardship, page 67. And it says, a tithe of all our increase, a tithe of all our increase is the loss. It's not for you. If you take it for yourself, it turns into a cursed item. It is for the loss. Look at it. He has reserved it for himself to be employed for religious purposes. It is holy. And I'm always afraid of this statement because of few things that is mentioned there. He has reserved it for himself. Where has he reserved it? He has reserved it in your pocket, in your wallet, in your bag. He has reserved it there. So I call it a test of faith. Look at me, very poor, needed so many things in life, and God looking for a place to keep his wealth. He chose my wallet. When in actual sense, I move out and get to town, I begin opening the wallet and using it the way I think can satisfy me. And yet, God says that is where he's reserving his portion of the tithe, the 10%, in your possession. Just to prove and just to test whether you honor him enough to bring his portion, so that he will take care of the 90 that is left with you. But normally, we are not very faithful. So is it your problem? Tonight, I'm saying you are given. You do it, but you don't receive the needed promise or blessings. Now we are investigating. Is this where your weakness is? You are not able to give what belongs to God to God. Is that your weakness? If that is it, then tonight the Lord is calling you to order that he intentionally could take his portion right from your employer, right from the bank you took that money. But he is a test of faith. So he's giving it to you and see whether you will be honest enough And so you may claim you are very honest in the church. You may claim that you really love Jesus and so on and so forth. But this is betraying you on daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that's why tonight we have to look at this again and see to it that the proper thing is now. Now, Adventists stand today on giving. We are saying that it must be planned giving and not impulse giving. You need to plan it. Because we are talking about 4 things: the tithe, the offering, the project givings, and the thanksgivings. You need to plan it in such a way that you will not take what does not belong to you, and that what belongs to God may be given to him in appreciation to, or in accepting him as your creator. Number 2, I'm saying that it must start with the lost tithe. Anybody, and I don't know where some of these teachings are coming from into our church. Some are saying that if you return your tithe and offering this week, the following week, though you have not gotten any income, you should not come to church with empty hands. And this quotation readily comes from Deuteronomy chapter 14, which is talking rather about the 3 years tithe, not the regular one that is perpetual. Look at it carefully from the Bible. We'll come to that later. So it starts with the lost tithe. Then it must be followed by the free will offerings, if you like. It must be free will because it should come from you. Then number 4, make allowance for special project offerings. Let the Lord see that you really care about where we meet, that you really care about having him in our midst, that you really prefer that he visit us from Sabbath to Sabbath, heal our wounds, and sanctify us, and prepare us for the weeks ahead of us. And then finally, it must be planned. Those all the givings that we're talking about, we don't plan them in church, brothers and sisters. If this has been your attitude, then that could also be one of the hindrances that is punishing us not to receive the full blessings. Because some of us will come to church with our tithe in the envelope, but with our offering not even in our pockets. Sometimes you talk to a worshiper close by or sitting by you to lend you something to give as an offering, which to God is an insult. Because you have a home, you came from your house, you should come prepared to worship. You know what belongs to God because you are coming to claim blessings. You are coming to report on your ailment. You're coming to talk about your business. You're going to present yourself to him. And yet he has something that he has kept in your wallet that you have forgotten at home. Does it take you serious if you talk about that he will give you what you are needing or what you are looking from him? In other words, you have forgotten his, but he should remember to solve your problems for you. Is it fair? And so if that's your weakness, tonight we are looking at those tidbits and make sure that you do it right. And let's see from today, the 28th, just as he gave in the Bible from the 24th day of the 9th month of that particular year. In our case, it is the 28th day of March 2022. Check from today. And it's so important that we look at it this way. Now, having talked about the tithe to this extent, let us look at the offering. Because they are like Siamese twins. They do things, it's something very, one after the other. So you cannot go with one and leave the other. The Lord's offering can be found from Malachi chapter 3 verse 8, where this question was posted by God the Creator. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, in what way have we robbed you? Then he provided the answer in tithe and offerings. 2 things. You see, when you say tithe or offering, then you are eligible to give one. But when we say tithe and offering, then both are binding on you to give. And so I'm asking, if you claim that the Lord has instructed you and you are going by the Lord's instruction. You come with your tithe in the envelope, and then we check the other side of the envelope and it is empty. Are you sure the needed blessing that is promised on these will be given? The answer is negative. I don't want to say no, but it's negative. Now, I went to the Spirit of Prophecy too to give an account of what it says about the offering. And this is from Counsels on Sabbath School Work, page 130. It says, after the tithe is set apart, let gifts and offerings be apportioned. And I think the word apportioned is one of the negative things that is fighting against our blessings. Apportioned, as God has prospered you. See, you must look at what the Lord gave and then find a portion, a proportion of that. I'm not sure that that is the way we understand this, and that's how we do it. Now, giving as offering, the church worldwide has come out with 3 ways of giving. Now, the first, they introduce the calendar of offerings. Calendar of offerings worldwide from the General Conference. Now, what does it mean? It means that in treating your offering, you can have a calendar to tell the church members week by week where their offerings will be directed or channeled towards. So that, I remember in some years past, we have the offering schedule plan, where we looked at it and say, okay, this year's or this Sabbath's offering is going towards institutions. It's going towards health institutions. It's going towards maybe universities or something, or this country or that country. The GC said, that is good. It is good. We can still follow it. Then they came with a second plan, and they said it should be personal giving plan. The PGP, personal giving plan, means that you, the giver of the offering, may decide where your offering should be taken to. So your tithe belongs to God. The offering, it belongs to God, but you have a choice of telling the church, use my money on this project or on this area. Then a third one is a combined offering plan, which says that combine all the offerings and put the offering into one bowl and give it to the church. And the church they've given the church a way of sharing the money to reach the entire world church. So I have a multi-million question here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking, how would you describe one, before God, how will you describe one who returns tithe without corresponding offerings? How will you describe that person? How will you describe one who does that? I gave a simple answer. You may have a different answer, but looking at the analysis we've gone so far, it means that if the Lord is demanding the tithe and offering, then giving the tithe without the offering doesn't make you faithful before the Lord. And one interesting thing is that God is the one who has the key of the treasury that will open the floodgates of heaven and shower the blessings of giving upon you until you don't have room to receive it. And if he, the one holding the keys, knew that you are not faithful, will that channel be open for you? And maybe that is the cause of the problems we are facing. Then we come back to look at the offering as a subject. And I'm saying that though the tithe, you have a fixed figure, 10% of the tithe. If you give 9%, you're only making mockery of yourself. It is 10%, and it's not 11%, where you think you can add more for God to bless you in abundance. It's not true. It must be 10%. Rather, making it 10% and specific 10% will tell God how serious you are with the words from his mouth or his instructions. And so you look at that and make sure that you know how to calculate your 10%. Now, how much is the offering? The offering, you don't see the percentage in the Bible because it cannot be there in the Bible. And it cannot be given by God because it is not God who is giving, it is you who is offering. So he can definitely not tell you, give me so much. As soon as he tells you, give me so much, then it is no longer an offering, it's a demand. So that choice is your choice. Now looking at this quotation, Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 17 says, each of you must bring a gift, but the gift should be in proportion to the way the Lord your God has blessed you, in proportion. So don't give it anyhow because you want to give. It must match the income you have received. It should be a portion of the income. That's why I underline the word proportion to the way the Lord has blessed you. The Lord has blessed you with something, and therefore you are returning your appreciation in a way of an offering. So you don't give the offering because you want to give, but you look at what you receive from him and give what you want to give in appreciation. And that's Deuteronomy chapter 16 verse 17. Now look at this interesting quotation that I'm having. The proportional approach should be a percentage base because it's proportion. It's a portion of the whole income. So you just don't dip your hand in your pocket or in your wallet or in your bag and give anything. It should match the giving that the Creator himself gave. So if you look at the picture I have with me here, it is from God to you human, and from you human to the church for God's work. The proportional approach should be in a percentage base. Is what we have to give because we have already received from the original owner. And I like this very much. We cannot give when we have not received from him. And that's why your giving should match what you received. That's the worry. That is where I believe that our fall actually came from. And that's why the needed blessings are not shown up. It's not coming because you receive, but in your giving to God, you don't consider again what he gave. Now, I have another one here. I'm saying that God is reminding us that he is ever the one who gives first. Because otherwise, what do you have? When you were created, he has created everything already. So he has, you don't have. And therefore, if he has not given you anything, you have nothing to offer. We can never give more than what we receive. If God gives you 100%, definitely you cannot give 110%. Where will you get the 10% to add to the 100%? So you see, it is God who gives first. Ladies and gentlemen, mark these things. They are very important, and the more you treat them seriously, the more your financial handicaps vanish in your life and leaves you free. Let's look at this. God decides on the proportion of the tithe, and therefore he has given you an example that proportionally I need 10%. Then you will also have to decide on how much you will give, how much in terms of percentage you will give to the Lord. I'm saying man decides on proportion of the offering. God decides on the proportion of the tithe. So God has fulfilled his portion. 10% is for me. Now when it comes to the offering, until today, many are struggling. We cannot give proportionally. No, we cannot. We still want to depend on quantum. You put your hand in your pocket, whatever you get, you give in some. But we're talking about proportional giving in the offering. And that's what we are lacking at the moment. I was still checking, and look at this. I'm asking you. After all, if you have no income, if you have not received anything from God for the month of March, if you have no income, how much is 10% of zero income? Tell me, how much is it? If God has not given you any income for March, the March is getting to the end, how much will be your percentage of income when there is no money with you from God? So we are saying that it must be a percentage term. And without it, I'm not sure that these windows of heaven will be open to you to shower blessings that there will be no room enough to receive. Because you are not careful in your giving. You don't even understand that giving is an act of worship. And that if it's an act of worship, then you have to do it according to the tenets of your Creator. Now, let's listen to Mrs. White on this. On giving, Christians should act from fixed principle. Don't give it anyhow. Because it's an offering, you look at the thing, you look at the place. Oh, these people, there are a lot of people in the church. Let me give something. Then you give something. It goes with no blessing. It's zero blessing because you didn't even plan it. You just gave it anyhow. So we're saying that, Mrs. White is saying that on giving, Christians should act from fixed principle, following the Savior's example of self-denial and self-confidence, self-sacrifice. I'm quoting from Counsels on Stewardship and page 25. Look at this too. Failing to regularly bring offering every time with tithe, or when there is an income or increase, may represent a rejection of God as the provider of all blessings. Wow, this is strange. It is completely rejection. That is failing to regularly bring offerings every time with tithes. You see, there are people who are tempted to say that, oh, I returned the tithe last week. So this week, there's no need I return tithe, but I can't go to the church with empty hands. And many pastors do support this because there will be income in the church. Pastor, you are punishing church members if you do that. And church members don't enjoy this. Why do you still have some of the offering in the second week when you took the tithe to the Lord? Is it because God will mismanage the offering so you are the chief manager and that you can manage it well to take care of him? Or what do you actually mean? On the day that you will take the tithe, that they take all the offering. That's why he said, you are robbing me in tithe and offering. And so the following week, if you have honestly given to God, there's no need for another tithing or offering again, because you have given it back to him and you are looking for the next income. And you will claim you have not received income, and so there's no tithe, but there's offering. You are confused. You are totally confused. You have blocked your blessings. Tonight, the Lord is calling you to order that if you are giving tithe and offering from an income, do it the way the Lord will open the floodgates of heaven and bless you until there will be no room enough to receive it. Now, when I was reading this, it dawned on me that the blame should not be apportioned to it, maybe some of us and our teachings. Today, the actual thing is, you are robbing me of in tithe and offering. Now you are bringing the whole tithe 10%, the offering you brought portion. You brought portion because you have not apportioned the quantum or the amount you will give to God in response to what he has done for you. That's why you took anything anyhow, and next week you bring anything anyhow. So eventually, when the need arises that you may need excess money to solve some problems in town, what is meant to the Lord will be consumed, and eventually work done will be zero. Now let us look at those things and begin to correct ourselves. I'm looking at Counsels on Stewardship, page 199. It were better not to give at all than to give grudgingly, as if it is not from heart. For if we impart of our means when we have not the spirit to give freely, we mock God. Can you imagine this? This has been quoted years, almost 200 years or more to us, and yet people are still doing it. Beloved, if you are not happy about returning your offering, take it. And don't expect partial giving with full blessings. It's not possible. It is not possible. And tonight, some of you may also take the advantage that, well, if I should see somebody in need, if I should see somebody doing the work of God, if I should see somebody preaching or having evangelism, I am going to take the tithe or the offering, which is meant for the storehouse, to that person who have ordered you to disperse what does not belong to you. That's the question. Who have ordered you to do that? Because the church has put this measure in place that every church member should return a faithful 10% or 1/10 tithe to the Lord. Every church member should also give a free will offering, which should be more than the tithe or equal to the tithe or less than the tithe. Then there should be a charity and project giving offering that should also be more than the tithe, equal to the tithe or less than the tithe, according to your strength. The church is saying, go by this, so that the needed blessings will come from the Creator. The problem with us now is that because we don't do the proper thing by giving our tithe 10%, the offering has become a problem. So we're saying that from today, the 28th of March, you want to test whether heaven will open for the blessings to be showered upon you, then make a decision. You can make your offering, if the tithe is 10%, you can make your offering according to your own percentage. It can be more, it can be less than the tithe, it can be equal to the tithe. That is left with you. The church will not tell you to give this, otherwise it is a direct command and it is no longer an offering. So this is your opportunity for you. Now, charity and project offerings, think about the church, the needs of the church. The church is struggling to survive. Some of the places we meet and call it a church is a disgrace to our conscience. It's not correct. They needed money to do it. You have the money, and yet you are not thinking about the development of this church. And so from today, the percentages are there. The reason why the church came out with this, I want to tell you, is that, initially we understood it, and there was a suggestion that you give your tithe 10% and you give an offering 10%. But now that has been repealed from the policy. And this is the current one that the church is saying, that if you give your tithe for the offering, it's your own decision. Nobody will decide for you. But go with a percentage, and the Lord will continue to bless you. Running it off, look at how the money is shared. Some of you have this question all the time at stewardship seminars. And the questions will be, where does the money go? They want to take everything for the local church, thinking that when they finish with winning souls and work of God in their community, Jesus will come. But I'm telling you, the unentered areas will keep us waiting. And that's why the money should go to the common pool for the church stewards to decide and share the money to be of benefit to where it is needed. Now, the percentage given is that you, the local church, the offering, take 50%. That's for you. The local district is giving 10%. The local conference, who receive it on the behalf of the world church, takes 10%. Now, the unions takes 5%. The West Central Division, which is the division of our territory, takes 5%. And the world church, the general conference, takes 20% of the combined offering. And let me say this, there are still pastors there who are teaching that they needed to take Sabbath school offering. Sabbath school offering is no more part of this system, because what the church is saying is that combine, the COP means combine offering plan, combine all the offerings you want to give to the Lord and bag it one. So you combine it. The only offering that the church expects that you may take for your local church is the Sabbath school expense offering. And that money is taken at the Action Unit class. So you don't come back to come and tell the people this is the Sabbath school offering or mission offering or whatever. Because when you give North America, Canada, and the rest, that's what they believe in, that they should follow their giving. But we don't, because we choose the combined offering plan. The offering schedule plan is also being used in many parts of the world, but for now, everybody is seeing beauty of truth in the combined offering plan, and as many as 9 divisions out of the 13 do give the COP, or the combined offering plan. So, beloved, look at the sharing correctly. The local church will take 50%, the district will take 10%, the conference will take 10%, the union will take 5%, the division will take 5%, and finally, the general conference will take 20%. I encourage you to look at these charts and all these things that we are presenting carefully, in order for you to benefit from giving to the Lord. Giving is not treated anyhow in the Adventist church. Giving in the Adventist church is an act of worship. May God bless you. I believe you've seen 1 or 2 things that needs some correction in your giving plan. So look at it carefully. Tomorrow, we'll look at another dimension to finish with the list of the 4. And then we begin probing on other areas that is pulling you back instead of making you see the Lord's appreciation in your life. So please, I want to thank you for tonight and for listening, spending your precious time to listen to this program. I will take my seat and then wait for what you think should be done right. God bless you.
Oh, thank you very much, Pastor, for this wonderful presentation. We are grateful. Financial stewardship is an act of worship. That's so right. You don't just give because you feel God needs your money, but because you need blessings from God, you must give. Pastor, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Pastor, there are a series of questions coming through. Pastor, who qualifies to return tithe?
Who qualifies?
Yes.
Every child of God. Every child of God should return faithful tithe, because every child of God needed some kind of support to live on. And so once God provides that, his portion must be returned.
Okay, so it is not limited to baptized members.
No, everybody, including non-Adventists. Okay. They can walk to your church and tell you, Pastor, or I think I have the duty to return my tithe. The Lord has blessed me with so much. So this God's envelope or God's portion, and you have to receive it.
Okay. Pastor, do pastors return tithe?
Yes, yes. Pastors do. We'll see that tomorrow.
Okay.
And so I'll take much time to explain. Pastors do return tithe, and they also are obliged to give offerings.
Okay. Okay. Pastor, can I decide to return my tithes, say, beginning of the year? I calculate my income and then pay once and for all for the year. You can do that, but you will not be faithful to the Lord. Okay.
Because you are limiting the blessings from heaven. You don't know what the Lord will do for you in February.
Okay.
And yet you have based your calculation from the income you receive from your office.
Okay.
But we're talking about this, that it is not only the income you receive from your regular work,
okay,
but side issues that you get also to be to return tithe on. So you just cannot work it out. And let me tell you honestly, if you are faithful tithe returner, interestingly, your figures differ from month to month, because God continues to bless you as you give faithfully. So you can't work for the year and know how much you'll get. You cannot.
So, before I continue with my questions, you can still keep your questions coming through. The number 055-968-0066. 055-968-0066. And Pastor is here to answer. Pastor, so let me do a follow-up on the first one.
Okay.
Can I also decide to wait the last month of the year, then I bring all my tithes?
Well, you have a problem if you do that. I will explain. This system is structured in a way that you can always deceive yourself and not God. Let me show you this. Why church?
Mm-hmm.
The Lord has given you 6 working days.
Okay.
On the 7th day, come and show yourself unto him. That is Ezekiel 20:12. Mm-hmm. For him to sanctify you and heal you. Mm-hmm. So on that 7th day, it's a holy convocation day you have with your maker. So you go and meet him to bless you, report your illness, report problems that you are encountering and the rest through prayer, and then he will answer you and bless you and sanctify you for another week or the subsequent week ahead of you.
Okay.
Now imagine you are coming to him with all these problems that you want to channel through prayer, but he has a tithe with you. And he has an offering, but you came, you knelt, you started praying, God, do this, do that for me. But unfortunately, I have a tithe that belongs to you. That one, I have left it home. So next time when I'm coming, I'll bring it. Then the following week to the same, God, I'll bring. And I do tell people from Ghana in diaspora who sometimes may like to give their tithe to Ghana, their local church in Ghana. And funny enough, you know what they are doing to themselves? They'll keep the money there, but yet some of them are having places of worship. They go to church. They go to church. They say, well, God is everywhere in the world. So here I will meet with him, but for what belongs to him, I will not give it to him here. I will take it to Ghana and go and give it to him when I go on vacation. So I'll keep it. See, tithe and offering can expire in your pocket. That is Leviticus 27:31. It can expire because the period that you have to give, you were keeping it. It goes with time. 6 days shall work be done. The 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord. That should have a holy convocation and return what belongs to God to God. You have no right to keep it for that long.
Wow. So the effect is that it is not wrong. I mean, it is not right to keep the tithe.
Yes, some may keep and may say that, well, I'm keeping it until I go to Ghana. I'm keeping it until I go to my local church where my membership is. So they keep keeping. But sometimes they will go there and use the money. But they know the figure because they've written the figure somewhere. So one day when they are about to go to where their local churches are, they put the money they've taken from the envelope or where they kept it, they put it back. But you see, Leviticus 27:31 says you should add 20% of what you use when you did not bring it to the Lord. Meanwhile, every Sabbath, they have been going to church. And it's an insult. If you know it's an act of worship, it is not the quantum, it is not the amount. It is returning it faithfully to the original owner. So you don't have to do those things. I would not recommend that.
But if the person is able to send weekly, say the person is in UK, is able to send weekly to Ghana.
There's a problem. Will the person come to church weekly in Ghana?
No.
So as for the church, because you know that from the figures that I gave from the offering, there's a portion that stays with the local church, 50%, and that is used to take care of that local church. So whose money should the church use in doing that for you to take yours to your country?
Interesting.
That's not fair.
Okay. So with the offering, there is a structured way of distributing the offering. That is the combine. Is there no way the tithe could be distributed the same?
Because it's not for the tithe is not for the church.
Okay.
Unfortunately. I think tomorrow I have to also deal with that. It's not for the church. So once it is not for the church cannot budget of its use.
Okay. So Pastor, are you saying we have a church building, it is collapsing, we can't worship, we have an amount of money that is tight. When we come to church, we still have tithe to present to the conference, and our church building is collapsing. You mean we can't use the tithe? I'm
sorry you said the money is for the conference. It's not.
Okay.
The conference receives the one thing about the Seventh-day Adventist Church is that we have only one church.
Okay.
Not like the other churches around that can open churches in. We have only one. And so the money goes to the storehouse.
Okay.
And the conference receives the money on behalf of the World Church. And the percentages are what has been given. Meanwhile, the third giving, which we will treat tomorrow, talks about the project giving.
Okay.
So you see that the church is falling, the building is falling, and there's money that the church, the Lord himself, all these givings that were mentioned were givings that God himself sanctioned. So if we think about the falling of the church, why wouldn't you give that as your support to that project?
Okay. Pastor, thank you very much.
That's okay.
We are much grateful for the discussion. My interest now is with the missing of blessings. Even though I am returning, but there are things I am not doing right. So maybe you have to look into the screen. Give us some encouragement, some motivation for us to know the blessings that indeed we receive when we return faithful tithe and offering. Okay.
The Lord himself said, I will, it says, use this to test me. Some of the translations will say, prove me now. Not tomorrow, now. Do it now and see whether I'm deceiving you or telling lies. Prove me now means I'm ready even now to bless you. So the question is, why is it that the blessing is not forthcoming? And those are the irregularities that goes with our giving. And that is why this seminar or this show is interested in. We have to investigate. So between now and the next Sabbath, brother, we're going to do a lot into giving so we can know where our weaknesses are. My prayer is that when you see where you fall short, don't harden your heart. Cool down and ask the Lord to help you reform and get the blessings. And I tell you, the blessings are there in abundance for you. It is you who is blocking them, not God.
Pastor, thank you very much. We are much grateful.
Okay.
And we know very soon you would direct us to the storehouse.
Yeah, we'll go. Definitely.
One interesting, controversial issues down there. So viewers, we are grateful for tuning in to Hope TV Ghana. And we are bringing to you Stewardship Seminar. It just started. So if you didn't join from the beginning, we are continuing tomorrow, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. It will run through the evenings till Sabbath evening. So join us every evening. We were led by Pastor Dr. Paul Edu Sampa, the former Stewardship and Strategy Planning Director of the Southern Ghana Union Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I have been your host, Pastor Obed Kwabnobing, Medina District Pastor. So join us same time tomorrow. Good night.